Hello, teacher. My name is Fernando Mejia Rodriguez. So I decided to work with my classmate Norma Costanza Mensa. So we have a problem. We have an issue with our cameras. So we decided to make the presentation individual. So we work together in the presentation, but we are going to make the presentation um, individual. So we are going to work about language. What is language as a whole, that is composed with tongue, speech, and dialect in motion. So now let's jump right in. Now we have four main concepts. Sorry, to talk about language. The first one is language itself. The Munoz defines it as a multifaceted system of communication that is fundamental to human interacting at its core. Language is composed of symbols, sounds, and rules that work together to convey meaning and facilitate understanding. Now we have the concept that is tongue. It's often used synonymously with language, particularly when emphasizing the natural language used by a specific community or nation. While it shares many attributes with the broader concept of language, tongue tends to focus more on the cultural and ethnic dimension of linguistic expressions. Now we have speech, refers to the actual verbal and auditory expression of language. It is the physical and audible manifestation of complex linguistic system involving the intricate use of vocal organs to produce sounds that form words and sentences. Now we have dialect, are specific varieties of language that differ in pronunciation, grammar, or vocabulary. They are spoken by subgroups within the larger community of language speakers. So, for example, the people from Medellin, they have a different dialect, different words, some phrasal verbs that they use against people from Bogota. They often use another kind of dialect to communicate the message. Now we have this chart that we can find differences and similarities between these concepts. We decided to put concept pair to contrast a little bit the information. We have language and tongue. Both refer to a structured system of communication used by human communities. The term tongue is often synonymous with language, especially in cultural or nation contexts. Now we have language and speech. Speech is a mode of expressing language. They are inherently connected. Speech brings language into real world audible form. Now we have language and dialect. Dialects are subsets or variation of a language. Both share core linguistic systems, though dialects differ in usage based on region or social group. Now we have tongue and dialect. Both are rooted in cultural identity and communicate based variation of language. A tongue may include several dialects within it. Now we have speech and dialect. Dialects influence how a speech sounds, accent, pronunciation, and word choice. Speech in the performance, while dialects is a variation of what is being performed. Now we have the differences. We have a concept definition of differences. Language, a complex system of symbols, sounds, grammar, and rules used for human communication. The umbrella concept under which speech, tongue, and dialect fall, it's both spoken and written, abstract and structured. Tongue, a more culturally or ethnically rooted term for a natural language, mother tongue, emphasizes cultural identity and heritage, not the mechanics of language, often interchangeable with language in formal or poetic context. Speech, the physical verbal expression of language using vocal organs, focuses on the auditory real time delivery of language. It's how language is spoken, not the system itself. So I wanted to point out this concept that is a speech. A speech is the way that we move our mouth, we move our muscles to convey information to somebody else, or when we want to ask, when we want to communicate, when we want to have a different interaction with somebody else. We use the mouth, the tone, the whole vocal system. Now we have dialect, a regional or a social variation of language with difference in pronunciation, grammar, or vocabulary. Dialects are subsets of a language, often mutually intelligible but distinct. They reflect local usage and community specific variation. So, for example, in dialect, here in Colombia, we have people from the coast, that we call it costeños. They have a lot of different words than us, and they express in a different way. They have words that we don't know. So that's the difference in the dialect. Okay, let's continue. How are these elements related? Language is the global system we all share to communicate. When the language has official recognition, we call it a language. Speech is the way each individual uses the language in a unique way. The verbal, physical, and audible manifestation, the intricate use of vocal organs to produce sounds. So examples that illustrate. So for example, we have a Quechua. Quechua, it's an important language, although it doesn't have an official status in many countries. In Spanish, we use tú or vos, depends on the region, showing differences in speech and dialect. Now I put it out of reflection to remember. Language is the human capacity to express ideas, tongue is its collective expression, and speech its personal manifestation. By Ferdinand de Saussure. Okay, as a conclusion, the relationship between language, tongue, and speech and dialect is one of the interconnectedness and mutual influence. Language serves as the broad umbrella under which these elements coexist and interact, each playing a vital role in the rich and dynamic world of human communication. So, for example, language has these three main concepts that they interconnect each other to work. It's important to know that, because it's the way we communicate with other people. So we got this information from the module 1 from the unit. This is the references. And thank you, teacher, for your attention. And this was my presentation. I hope it was a great performance. Bye bye.